This is our visual analysis research for The Crusader. The catalyst in this film is the Batman costume of character Lee Phillips. As well as clearly indicating the stupidity of the character, the costume to him is considered normal, making it comical for the audience, again due to the lack of sanity of the main character. The costume is a very dominant aspect of the film, especially during close-ups where the mask covers the character's face, making him somewhat anonymous. The catalyst is continuous throughout the film, making the storyline simple yet entertaining. We also like the way in which the makers chose to mask the character's face, so even though the audience feel as if they know him, the character projects the voiceovers in the film, so he's telling his own story of his life. We thought this was an effective way of interacting with the audience, making them feel closer to the character and more involved with his life, instead of someone else telling the story for him. The character halfway through the film starts swearing at the cameraman to get the fuck out of his house, something we found amusing as it challenged the audience expectations and showed a different side to his heroic and delusional character. The film challenges audience expectations greatly in many aspects. For example, when the egg gets thrown at the car, he squeals and is frightened, so the audience expects Batman to be strong and fearful. The way the developed character in this film is so deluded was an idea we particularly wanted to achieve in our own film, mainly as it is a sarcastic and witty way of adding amusing traits to a film in a more subtle and inobvious manner.
The conventions of short films. A catalyst. A catalyst is an aspect of the film which is repeated throughout in order to link the events together. Challenging audience expectations. A short film often challenges the expectations of its audience, which is usually achieved by adding a twist at the end by leaving a cliffhanger. One developed character. In short films there is only one main character that's developed and the other characters are just extras which have been stereotyped. Circular narrative. A narrative of short films are often circular, meaning that they start or end in the same place, or the characters start and end doing the same thing. The conventions are for About a Girl are that it has a circular narrative, and the story begins and ends with the girl singing songs by Britney Spears. It's a handheld camera, which is representative to the audience as being part of a conversation with the main character and is in a documentary style. The genre of the film is drama, which is represented by the content of the story, and the way in which is it filmed. Representation. Youth, the location of the story, people from a working class background and those with a northern accent are represented negatively because of the actions of the young girl. Right. The similarities and differences between About a Girl and A Day in the Life of Jayden Wade. The catalyst in A Day in the Life of Jayden Wade is the fact that no one really knows who he is. Challenging audience expectations. The two films have similarities with this as they contain a twist at the end of the story. Like in A Day in the Life of Jayden Wade, at the end it is revealed that Jayden is lying about being a celebrity because he actually works at McDonald's. And one developed character. Both films have only one developed character, which is the young girl in About a Girl and Jayden. Circular narrative. The main characters in both stories start and end doing the same thing. Like in About a Girl, the main character sings a song by Britney Spears, and in A Day of the Life of Jayden Wade, Jayden's story begins and ends with him at McDonald's.
This is our original first idea. We originally had an idea about a man who is repeatedly waking up from dreams that are very confusing, and certain catalysts keep reappearing around his apartment. But really, the weird dreams he is having turns out that he had really been asleep the whole time and that he is a very successful writer, and he is currently writing the story he just wrote. This is where we got our inspiration from.
There's one thing you should know about me. I specialize in a very specific type of security. Subconscious security.
You're talking about dreams.
Mr. Cobb has a job offer he would like to discuss with you.
Like a work placement?
Not exactly.
This is our original second idea. Our second idea was based on fairy tales and reenacting them. In the beginning, we are filming in a regular bookstore, and an average book buyer takes an interest in one of the books he is about to buy. In the process of reading one of these classic fairy tales, he or she would have been sucked into the story. Eventually, the story ends and the camera zooms out as a different person. The person reenacts the story that was told in the book. And after that, another story continues, forever ending. This is where we got our inspiration for our second idea.
What is the secret of this enchanted book? What wonders are hidden within its pages? What magical spell does it cast on all who read it? What is the secret of the never-ending story?
But that's impossible!
This is our final idea on our documentary. Our documentary is based on a failed man's dreams of becoming an actor, but attempts to convince our camera crew that he is a very successful actor. Throughout the story, we are questioning random selected people questions about our actor, Jaden Wade, and they obviously haven't heard of him or have no clue on who he is. Towards the end of the documentary, we catch him working at McDonald's and he is very embarrassed. For our final idea, we got inspiration from The Crusader.
I was 11 when it happened. I saw it all right in front of my eyes. It's a hard thing to deal with. 1 minute they're there and then the next taken from you. And yeah, I am quite bitter about it. But then I think, if it hadn't have happened, I wouldn't have become this tower of strength. Like a beacon.
Our filming locations consist of Denton Pastures, the Actors' House for Questioning, Broad Street, and finally, McDonald's.